Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Earth Echo's STEMExplore virtual career connection featuring the founders of Minorities in Shark Sciences. My name is Armand Alex. I'm a science communicator and a member of Earth Echo International's Youth Leadership Council. Earth Echo International is a nonprofit founded on the simple belief that youth have the power to change the planet. Our free programs and resources have reached more than 2 million people in over 146 countries. This live event specifically is part of STEMExplore, Earth Echo's program that brings inspiration to life by telling the stories of dynamic female professionals in STEM careers during live virtual career connections. Now, we definitely can't forget, we want to thank our program sponsor, Raytheon Technologies, for the support of women in STEM. Also, just a reminder that you can definitely send in your questions anytime for our experts, and we will answer those throughout today's event. If you are joining in Zoom, please use the Q&A feature, and if you are on YouTube, please use the comment section to ask your questions for our experts. Now, without further ado, let's get started by introducing our wonderful panel from MISS, Minorities in Shark Sciences. Welcome, everyone. Amani, let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, and where you're located?
Yes, hello, my name is Amani Weber-Schultz. I recently graduated from Rutgers University in May of 2020 with a Bachelor's of Science in Marine Science, and I minored in Fishery Science. I am currently a research assistant in the Fluid Locomotion Lab at the New Jersey Institute of Technology, which is a lab that focuses on biomechanics and functional morphology of fish. And I'm also a fellow at Field School in Miami, where I will be assisting with helping run their shark courses, teach students about workups, and also help them with their shark research. And I'm currently located in New York City.
Gotta love New York City. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to have you. Jasmine, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, and where you're located?
Hi, my name is Jasmine Graham, and I'm a shark biologist. I'm interested in the ecology and evolution of sharks, skates, and rays. My previous research has focused on the evolution of hammerhead sharks and the movement ecology of the small-toothed sawfish, which is a critically endangered ray species we have here in Florida. Currently, I am the Marseille Lace Project Coordinator at Mote Marine Laboratory. Marseille Lace stands for the Marine Science Laboratory Alliance Center of Excellence, and we are a program that's dedicated to researching and understanding how best to recruit, support, and retain minority students in marine science. I graduated from the College of Charleston with my undergrad, and I did my graduate degree at Florida State University in Tallahassee, Florida. And now I live in Sarasota, Florida, because I love Florida.
We gotta love Florida there. And next we have Jada Elcock. Jada, can you tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
I was on mute, sorry. Hello, my name is Jada Elcock. I am a current graduate student at the University of Washington in the School of Aquatic and Fishery Sciences. I am focused on elasmobranch movement ecology, similar to some of Jasmine's past research. Interested in finding out where different shark, skates, and rays are going, what they're doing in those habitats, and hopefully this information will help us, get some information, some insight as to how these animals interact with their environment and how that's going to change in the wake of, climate change and human interaction. I graduated from the Northern Arizona University, in May of 2019 with a bachelor's in science. And I'm currently located in Seattle. So we've kind of got everyone like all around the country right now.
I definitely told myself that I would have to retire to Seattle, Washington. Hopefully you're still there. We'll have to meet up. And
Yes.
of course, certainly last but not least, we've got Carly Jackson. Carly, can you also tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey guys, so my name is Carly Jackson. I'm currently a marine turtle specialist at a nature center called Gumbo Limbo. I work with sea turtles. I monitor our beaches in Boca Raton and also help in the Sea Turtle Hospital. I just graduated with my master's degree from Nova Southeastern University, degree in marine science. And there I did research on the effects of feeding tourism on nurse sharks in Belize. That was a really fun project looking at the ways those types of ecotourism activities affects the behavior and physical conditions of nurse sharks there. I also got my bachelor's degree from Florida Atlantic University, so I stayed in Florida. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I don't like the cold, so I'll probably be staying here. But I'm currently located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much for being here, Carly. And of course, we would definitely want to thank you guys for all being here. Let's talk about MISS a little bit. Jasmine, can you tell us a little bit more about your amazing organizations, Minorities in Shark Sciences?
Sure. So Minorities in Shark Sciences was founded by the four of us in June. So we are under a year old. We're very young and new. And so something really interesting is we founded MISS without ever meeting each other in person. So we created this organization entirely online through Zoom and text and emails and Twitter and all of those things. And so we're basically an organization that's dedicated to supporting women of color interested in shark science. And we do that by creating a community and a place where people can feel like they belong and they have people that share similar identities to them. And because science can be really isolating, which is what we kind of figured out whenever we found each other, and we realized we didn't know how isolated we felt until we found another woman of color in shark science. And so we wanted to create this organization to create a community and then also to use our collective voice to change the status quo of shark science and tackle some of the barriers that are keeping women and people of color out of shark science and marine science in general. And one of those barriers is financial. And so we fundraise to provide experiences, research experiences for people interested in shark science that they normally wouldn't be able to access because of financial constraints. And so we're really excited about that, to be able to offer internship programs that are at no cost to participants. We're offering workshops. We are gearing up for a program, after school program for high schoolers around the country. And so we're really excited to be able to connect people with shark science when shark science historically has been inaccessible to so many people.
That is absolutely fantastic. And honestly, I'm really surprised that there wasn't something already like this. And the fact that you guys are young and you are just, pushing boundaries here, it's absolutely phenomenal. So thank you for sharing that information with us. And without further ado, let's jump right into these questions. We've got some awesome questions for you guys. A lot of audience members are asking a couple of questions as we speak here, but let's go ahead and take a look at this first question for you guys to answer. We can throw this one over to Carly and Jasmine. What do you do for a living, and what does your average day look like?
Want me to start, Jasmine? I'll start. Awesome. All right. So as I said a little earlier, I'm a marine turtle specialist. So I work with both sea turtles and sharks. I get the best of both worlds. And so I mainly work with sea turtles right now. And an average day right now looks like me waking up before the sun comes up, which is really early. And, it's not my favorite thing to do, but it's okay because they're sea turtles. But sea turtle season is actually coming to an end here in Florida. And the last day is actually October 31st. So we only have one nest left out on the beach right now. But yeah, so we check on that nest. And after we're done checking all the the status of the beach, I come back and I help in the sea turtle rehab facility. So we have a hospital, and we take care of sick and injured sea turtles. So our goal is to rescue, rehab, and release. And we get all of our turtles by the public calling us and telling us where these sick turtles are. And we bring them back, and we do a lot of different medical procedures on them in hopes of them getting a full recovery so we can release them back out in the wild. And I also have done some tagging work with my lab at Nova. We would go out and tag sharks all along the coast of Broward County. That's really fun. And I've also done some work with field school, as you can see in the bottom picture there. I go and occasionally help them with their tagging research, and that's super fun.
So my day, I don't know that I have a average day. I do a lot of things. Something about me is I do too many things just as a general life existence. I've done that my whole life. And so I wear many hats. And the major hat that I wear is as Marseille Lace Project Coordinator, where I help students. I run an internship program for underrepresented minority students from community colleges, and they're working on their associate's degrees. And I connect them with mentors, and they come and work in our facilities on various marine science related projects. And that's really exciting and fulfilling. And so I work with them, and I work with their mentors to help their mentors understand how to be good, effective mentors. And then I work with the students to help them get the professional development and tools that they need to succeed. I also do continue my sawfish research and outreach. So I do events where I go talk to the public and share with them the importance of sawfish, what a sawfish is, what to do if they see a sawfish. And so I just interact with the public to educate them so that we can try and protect this really important species. And then I also do the research on them. So I go out and I go fishing to go catch them and tag them. So I fish up here in Tampa Bay as well as in the Keys for sawfish through long line samples, which is just like it sounds. It's a long line with a bunch of hooks on it. And so I catch them, we tag them, release them, and then I process all of that data. So in that top left corner picture, at least it's left for me, I think it might be mirrored for you, but that's me downloading data from a receiver, which is how we track these animals. So some days I'm out on the boats, downloading receivers, tagging animals. Some days I'm working with students to get them psyched up for marine science. Sometimes I'm at booths talking to people about sawfish. I do a lot of things.
That's amazing. You guys both, seems like y'all both wear a lot of hats. And how much of public interaction do you guys rely on for your research or for your work? I know, Jasmine, you said that you're always doing, going out in education type programs, but how much of your day-to-day life is based off of the public interaction?
So a lot of our information for sawfish research comes from the public. And so that's why I'm out there so much, getting our phone number out there so that people can report whenever they see sawfish. So shameless plug, 1-844-4-SAWFISH if you ever come across a sawfish. And so that tells us where the sawfish are. That gives us a clue as to where to fish for them so that we can catch them and tag them. It also tells us really important information about how long they're in an area when they're migrating and things like that. So yeah, it's very critical, the information that we get from the public.
And that's so extraordinary special to me because I'm such a big believer in citizen science, and Earth Echo, of course, also has their citizen science program with the Water Challenge. And if anyone else would like information of that, of course, you can definitely get with Jasmine here with Miss, or if you'd like to get to more information with Earth Echo's Water Challenge, that's also an option here. But let's look over at this next question that we've got, and we can hand the reins over to Jada and Amani. What does being a woman and also a minority in this field mean to you?
This is a really good question. I feel like it means different things for different people, but for me, I guess it means that I get to, just by being myself and doing what I love, I get to help pave the way for more women of color in this field. And I get to, set a good example for other young women of color, and to kind of be the representation that other kids look for. Because growing up, I never saw people that looked like me on, like all these nature documentaries. And I mean, it's definitely something that you look for. It's something that you wish that you had, because you want to be able to see yourself represented, right? And for a lot of kids, if they don't see that representation, they might not realize that this is even an option for them. So to be able to kind of be one of those faces and be one of those examples is a huge privilege, and I take it very, very seriously. So that's something I'm really excited about, just to be able to help other kids realize, hey, this is for you, this is for everyone, you can do this too. And to just kind of, like I said, be myself in the process and just have fun doing what I love. So yeah.
I definitely think the key word there was representation, and you hit it right on the nail head when you said that. How could you possibly see yourself in a position if there's no one? And so kudos to you for that. And Amani, what about you? What does it mean to you to be a woman and a minority in this field?
So going off of what Jada said, representation obviously super important. And then I think also for me, knocking down stereotypes. Like being a woman, people are like, you can't handle a shark because you are not strong like a 6-foot man that I saw handling one on Shark Week. And that's a false statement, because all 4 of us are perfectly capable of restraining a shark for a workup. And getting those pictures out there so that people can start to understand that stereotype isn't true, is super important to me. Or the idea that minorities don't like to go in the water. Like there's that thing that people are like, Black people don't like to swim, but here are 4 Black people that like going in the ocean. And so like knocking down those stereotypes and showing other young women that those stereotypes do not define who you are as a person is super important to me. Absolutely.
Retweet everything that you just said right there. That's absolutely phenomenal. Finger snaps. Absolutely. Especially because it's so important to break down these barriers, to break down these stereotypes, because that's literally the limiting factor for more minorities to be in these fields. And it's so heavily dominated by other cultures, so heavily dominated by other races. When you can see yourself as that shark doctor, as the one on Shark Week, you becomes an internal thing where it's more believable and it's more attainable. So this next question I'd like to give to all 4 of you. You guys can pick which order you would like to go in. I guess we can throw it back to Carly, since I think she was the first one to speak. But what has encouraged you to overcome obstacles on your journey? This one's going to be a little bit more personal, but Carly, you can definitely take this one first.
Yeah, so they're definitely just overall as like a student, and then on top of that, as a Black woman in this field, there are definitely a lot of obstacles to overcome. A lot of those are, oh, like you can't do that, or another one that I got was like, oh, like there's not a lot of people in this field who succeed, so you should probably pick something else. And it's, for me, what encouraged me was like proving everyone wrong, because like I got a little attitude and I was like, you can't tell what? Like, you can't tell me that. Like, okay, I'm gonna prove you wrong. So that definitely encouraged me. And also meeting other people who were very encouraging. So when I first met the ladies at field school, they definitely helped encourage me a lot. They were I stress getting mentors in this field is very important. And because mentors give you the tools to kind of believe in yourself as well. And you're like, oh, these are like successful people who are telling me like, you're smart and you can exceed in this field. So that definitely helped me a lot. And family as well. Me personally, I had a very supportive family, and they helped encourage me to overcome a lot of things. And my family literally followed me to Belize when I went to go do my research. So it's just like having a good support group, both mentors and family and just friends as well. It kind of helps you get past I'm the only one who looks like me in this field, and also I gotta make sure to prove everyone wrong. So
I certainly appreciate the fact that you had mentioned mentors, because that's such a big thing, I believe, in this world of sciences, period, is that
For
like
sure.
you really can't get through grad school, you can't get through undergrad school, you can't get through school, period, or any of your research alone. You always have to have at least a mentor, or you have to have your family, some kind of supportive, mental, because it can be, at sometimes it can take a toll on us mentally, all the
For
work
sure.
that you guys have to do as well. So I really appreciate that mentor comment there. And what about you, Jasmine?
Well, Carly took a lot of mine, so I'll just reiterate. Yeah, mentors are really important. Having mentors that believe in you. I had some really great mentors in school, in undergrad, and then also my graduate advisor is amazing and still continues to be a mentor for me. I've met other mentors along the way that were, not even weren't even associated with my institutions. They just took it upon themselves to like take me under their wing and help me out, and having encouraging words from them. And I have one mentor, Tanya Wiley, who always, every time I say just, she goes, "Don't say just." And so I've gotten to the point where I think about that. I'm like, you're not just anything. So that is something that I really take to heart. I think another thing that helped me overcome obstacles was recognizing that I'm a human, which sounds silly, but that was something that took me a long time to be like, Jasmine, you can't just stress yourself out. Like, you're not going to be 100% all the time. That's not humanly possible. There are things that you're going to fail at the first time you try them. That's normal. And so giving myself grace to be able to make a mistake and do something wrong and not beat myself up about it definitely helped me overcome things. Because I think sometimes whenever you get frustrated with something and you reach an obstacle and you feel like you can't do it, you kind of beat yourself down, and it just is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the second you give yourself permission to make a mistake or fail at something, it's like so much easier to succeed for reasons. I also think that something that's been super helpful for me is like going to therapy and talking about things that are super stressful, like grad school is stressful. Like, yeah, grad school is stressful. There's a lot of like extra things that you need to do to take care of your own mental health. And so that's something that has been really valuable to me. And then also shout out to my dog, who just is there for me all the time and is great.
Yeah, I was over here taking notes as you were writing down, because I mean, you spoke some very wise words there, especially when you touched on your mental health, because I think a lot of people will enter this space, but they don't realize, like you said, it does take a mental toll, and if you're not there to help yourself get through it, it's one thing to have outside support, but you also have to be there for yourself. And I'm hoping maybe Jada and Amani can maybe touch up on some kind of like self-love, some self-care that you guys have to go through to help you overcome these obstacles. Do you guys have any stories there?
Yeah, so my main thing for getting through these obstacles is kind of like what Carly said, like proving the haters wrong. I am too stubborn to allow someone to tell me what I am and am not capable of. And people are like, "Are you sure? Like, that seems really hard. Maybe you should pick a plan B, or maybe you should try for something else. Maybe you should do this." And I'm like, no, why would I do that? Because this is what I want to do. So I'm going to make it happen. Right. And definitely, I think, self-love is a huge thing. I know everybody has imposter syndrome. Believe it or not, you are not the only person with imposter syndrome. That needs to be said. Everyone thinks they're the only one, and that's not true. So be your own hype man and find your friends that will be your hype men, because that's an important thing, to be able to be like, you get through an R code like I did earlier. I was working on it for an hour and a half. I finally fixed the one bug that I had, and I was like, you know what? Good for you, girl. You're smart. That was awesome. I'm so proud of myself. Like, that is totally okay to do. I might sound a little conceited sometimes when I do that, but it is all out of self-love and trying to, you know, like pump yourself up to like get through the hard moments, because there are hard moments in every day and in science, and as a minority and a woman in science, and you have to find the people that are going to pump you up, and you got to pump yourself up, and just don't let people tell you what you are and are not capable of. Because if you want to do it, you can do it, and you can make it happen for yourself. You just have to get through the obstacles, which it sucks sometimes, but you can absolutely do it.
If you can do it, or if you want to do it, you can do it. Jada Elcock, 2020. I will have to say that it is very much so of a mindset. Would you agree with that, Jada? It is a mindset kind of thing, right?
Absolutely a mindset. You have to be able to, you know, like push through and tell yourself, you know what, this is something I really want and something that I'm determined to do. So I will make it happen for myself. And it takes a lot of work to get to that point. Because I know some people are just like, I know I've felt this at times where you're just kind of like, I don't know, this seems really difficult. Maybe I should just do something else, or maybe I should just pick an easier path. But it just, I know in the end that whatever else I could do as like a substitute is not going to be as fulfilling. It's not going to be as fun as what I'm doing now. So you push through and you keep that mindset, and you keep pumping yourself up in the back of your mind to make sure that you can get to where you want to go. It takes a lot, but it's definitely worth it.
You know, it takes a lot, but just baby steps. If you just put one foot in front of the other, and then it becomes a habit. And then by the time you know it, you're just always your inner cheerleader. You can be just like Jada then. And then what about you, Amani? What are some things that you do to, or some things that you've done to get over those along your journey?
So on top of all the things that those three just said, because all of those apply, I think it was also just my desire to do something that I really love. Some people, you know, they go to college and they make career decisions based on how much money they'd make, where they could live, if it would let them travel. For me, it was which job I would love the most. And above all the other things, that was what was most important to me. So the drive to really get into shark science was just because I loved it so much, and like I want to live a happy life and like going to my job. So that was my motivation. And then to get over like mental obstacles, I rock climb, because it's my time to just go and enjoy like a puzzle on a wall, basically. And it allows me to set goals for myself and then feel accomplished when I succeed at them. And it just gives me like an extra boost and like a clear headspace to just be myself in and not be stressed out. So that's my tip is have a hobby that you enjoy. Like have something outside of your work that you really like to do. And that helps you through obstacles also.
All respects to you on the rock climbing. I mean, you know, we all do our own hobbies to get us through the day and get us these crazy, you know, mindsets and over these obstacles. But rock climbing could not be something that is for everyone, especially for me. I think I'd get one hand up and be like, tap out. That's it for me. I did want to include this in our presentation today, because how could you not talk about sharks without talking about what your favorite shark is? So someone in the YouTube section, the Q&A, what are y'all's favorite shark species?
So I'll go first because I have a distinct feeling that someone's going to take mine, so I'm going to say it. So my favorite shark is the bonnethead shark because 1, they are adorable. 2, they are hammerheads, which is the first family of sharks that I ever worked on, and so nostalgia. 3, they're omnivorous. What does omnivorous mean? It means that they eat plants and animals. What? So up until this point, we thought that all sharks are carnivores. False. Wrong-o. Bonnetheads, omnivorous sharks. 3 points makes them the undisputed champions. Best shark ever. That's it.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. And I mean, I think you put a good point there that, contrary to popular belief of everyone thinking that sharks are carnivorous, nothing but carnivorous, you got the bonnethead shark there. And so you got this omnivorous shark. And what about you, Jada? What is favorite species of shark?
I go back and forth between the bonnethead and the thresher shark, but I'm also going to toss the salmon shark in there because they are super, super cool. So every reason that Jasmine just gave, those are my reasons for the bonnethead as well. They're so cute. They're omnivorous. And I forgot what the third point was, but I'm sure it was a good point. They're amazing. I love them. The thresher shark, I love these guys because their tail makes up like 50% of their body length and they use it like a whip. And like, instead of hunting with their face, like most other sharks, they hunt with their tail. And I just think it's so goofy and it's so cool. And if you have not seen me and Amani talk with Monterey Bay Aquarium, we did the perfect impression of a thresher shark. They look terrified all the time and it's absolutely joyous. I love it. And I have to give some love to the salmon shark because they can raise their body temperature around 60 degrees Fahrenheit above ambient water temperatures. And that is the coolest thing because they live in, super cold waters up by like Alaska and things like that. They got to be able to chase like salmon and squid and all these fast prey items. So they have to be fast too. And if you've ever tried to like move your hands after you've been outside in the snow, you can't move them very fast, right? So they are essentially endothermic so that they can move their muscles as quickly as they need to be able to swim fast enough to catch their prey. And I think that is super, super cool. They are the kings of fish endothermy, and I love them. All three of those sharks are just so great.
Thank you for clarifying why they do, because it's awesome to know as a fact that they can do that, but why is always the question I have to follow up with people that put out facts out there. And let's see, who's next? Amani, what is your favorite species?
Okay, well, obviously bonnetheads are super cute and I love them. So I think it's safe to say the three of us love bonnetheads. And then I think I go in between the great hammerhead and the tiger shark. The great hammerhead I love just because like their head. But also their insane dedication to eating rays is hilarious to me because they end up with the barbs in their mouth and they're just unbothered by it. And then the tiger shark is my favorite because it's the first shark that I got shark burn from, which for those who don't know what that is, when you're restraining a shark, their skin is smooth when you go head to tail, but it's rough going tail to head. And you get like a rash from it if it pulls in the wrong direction, like literally like rug burn. If you like run and slide on a rug and you get that horrible like red itchy terrible thing on you, it's like that but a little bit worse. But it was awesome and I was like, I got shark burn for the first time. And yeah.
Oh, I love that. And what about you, Carly? What is your favorite species of shark?
So I also go back and forth with two species, the nurse shark and the mako shark. But I talk about the nurse shark a lot, so I'm going to go with the mako shark. Mako sharks, to me, are just so cool because they're the fastest shark in this ocean. And like, I've seen, if you've ever looked up a video of a mako shark, like chasing a boat, like chasing a piece of bait behind a boat, the boat is going like 50 miles an hour and the shark is just keeping up with it. It's pretty cool. And I was a swimmer. I swam all the way through college. So like I connect with the mako shark. And they're also cool because they can keep their bodies warmer. Not quite as warm as salmon sharks, but still pretty cool. They use their muscles to warm their bloods, and that's how they can achieve that fast swimming in the water. So yeah, they're pretty cool. And they have kind of weird looking faces too. I don't know.
I love mako sharks. I love mako sharks because I can specifically remember when I was little, that probably was a shark that I learned about. My first grade teacher, Miss Christie, she taught me about mako sharks. So shout out to you, Miss Christie. Love you. But can we talk about how awesome epaulet sharks are? Epaulet sharks are amazing. When I worked at the Texas State Aquarium, my favorite shark was to talk about the epaulet sharks and how they can walk on land. It was so incredible to blow little kids' minds. Does anybody do any work with like epaulet sharks or like know a little bit about those? Those are amazing.
I have worked with them when I was at an aquarium in the past. They were in the touch pool with all of like the cow nose rays. And it's so funny because when I was on touch pool duty, I would walk up to this little kid and I'd be like, you know, there's a shark in this water. They'd yank their hand out and then it'd give me the perfect opportunity to be like, oh, I promise they're not going to hurt you. Honestly, they don't want to have anything to do with you. They'll just go hide somewhere. But they're not that big. They're pretty small. They can survive out of water much longer than I'm pretty sure any other shark species. And look at how cute they are. They look like little puppies. They're so cute. And if you've ever seen, or if you haven't seen a video of one quote unquote walking, you should look up a video of it on YouTube or something, because they, like, the way that their fins move, literally, yeah, it looks like they're literally waddling along on these rocks. And it's the cutest thing ever. I love them. They are absolutely precious.
Thank you for saying all of that, especially because, like, you know, shout out to the touch pool shark species, like the epaulet shark, the white spotted bamboo shark, because those are the ones that help me teach kids that sharks aren't mean. Like, that they are the ones that are driving that shark movement there. Now, you guys have all your favorite sharks. Courtney Logan from Philadelphia wants to know that, as an aspiring shark scientist who also loves sharks just as much as you guys do, what is some advice that you can give her about looking for entry-level jobs, whether it be at an aquarium or something that's like just to get you started in the field somewhere? Or what is your advice? Anyone can take the reins here.
Yeah, I feel like aquariums are a good place to start. Also, research labs that are working with sharks. I mean, animal husbandry is a beast. So a lot of places that are keeping sharks for experiments or for aquariums or anything like that, they need a lot of manpower to be able to take care of them. So find those people and just kind of wiggle in there. If you're at a university and there's someone that's doing shark research, you can see if they have any opportunities to work with them for research, or see if you can do an independent project or something. A lot of schools have options where you can get course credit for doing like an independent study type thing. Also, research experiences for undergraduates, just going to throw that out there. It's funded by the National Science Foundation. They have lots of programs, and a lot of them, several of them have programs where they're working with fish or shark research projects. So I would definitely recommend to look into those, because those are paid research opportunities. Yeah.
I mean, if I am a shark enthusiast right now watching this from home, I'd be taking notes on everything that Jasmine said. I mean, this is what she does for a living. You can't get any more real than what she's telling you right here, right now. Anybody else have any advice for entry-level jobs?
Yeah, I just want to say, for the people who are landlocked that still want to work with sharks, you can do it. I grew up in the middle of the desert in Arizona, so literally the complete opposite of the ocean. But I was an intern at Odyssey Aquarium in Scottsdale, Arizona, because they had an internship. It was unpaid, unfortunately, and sometimes, you know, that's just kind of like an unfortunate fact that a lot of internships are unpaid, or you have to pay for experience. So if you have the opportunity to do that and you can afford to do an unpaid internship, and that's one of your only options, absolutely go for it. If you can find a paid internship, even better. And I don't know, maybe if you're in high school or you're still taking undergrad classes, you feel like you don't have a lot of time during a certain part of the year, definitely look for volunteering opportunities too, because a lot of aquariums have volunteering opportunities. Or I mean, a zoo, maybe. A lot of them have like certain like aquarium type parts of the zoo. Really any kind of experience that you can get, volunteering or internships, anything like that, go for it. And it's a little hard to find when you are in a landlocked state, but it's definitely possible. So wanted to give some hope to those out there that are also potentially in the middle of the desert. You can do it. You can find some places to go. So yeah.
You know, Jada, you touched on a really good topic there. And it's about, like, you know, being landlocked. One thing that the Earth Echo Youth Leadership Council is working on right now Ocean 30 by 30, which is protecting 30% of the world's oceans by 2030 through MPAs. MPAs are marine protected areas, as well as through policy and through education. And what we're working on right now is trying to figure out how to be able to cater to the people that are landlocked. How can we show them that through their involvement, they can make a big difference as well? Do you guys have any advice for somebody that is landlocked? I know, Jada, you had mentioned it very briefly, but any advice to somebody that is landlocked but goes, hey, I want to be involved in helping protect our oceans and being in marine biology? Any advice there to anybody else?
Yeah. Oh, awkward.
You can go, Carly.
Okay. I lost my, okay. So I grew up in Detroit. So it's kind of landlocked. We have the Great Lakes around us, but it's not the ocean. Kind of, they're cool, but it's not the ocean. But I would say right now in the world, everything is virtual. So you can definitely go online and look at, you can like join a lot of different virtual programs. There's a lot of educational programs out there. Like I know there's a couple of free like shark courses out there as well. If you just Google it, you can get in a free course and learn about sharks or any other marine related topic. But also I did a lot of research myself growing up. Like I went to the library, I had checked out a lot of books, read a lot of books on the ocean and sharks in general, and also looking into a lot of different organizations. And if you can donate to a lot of different organizations, because a lot of research right now is, self-funded or funded off of donations and things like that. So there's a lot of different nonprofits out there that do a lot of good work for the ocean. Where I work, Gumbo Limbo, we are funded by a nonprofit. So all of our donations go towards the running of our rehab facility. So we wouldn't be able to do what we do without, people who are ocean enthusiasts and donating towards the cause. So that's my little bit of advice.
That's a good response, especially because it's, if it's something that you're interested with, talking about the ocean, wanting to learn more about sharks, wanting to learn more about jellyfish, which are my absolute favorite, just you could educate yourself, and that there's so many resources out there. A quick, simple Google search, and you've got a million resources right at your disposal. And also, she touched on a really good point there, Carly did, and mentioning that there are a lot of organizations, whether they're nonprofits, that take donations to further that work. So if you love mussels, if you love squid, if you love sharks, there's organizations out there that look to take in donations to be able to fuel the research for those specific fields. So thank you for bringing that up, Carly. And I don't want to take up too much more time on that one, because I know we've got a couple more questions here, and this one is definitely one that is really important to me, and it looks like you guys are really interested in this as well. But this next question we have, it's, what would you like to see in the future for the field of shark sciences? And Carly, you're the last one to speak, so you can take the reins on this one as well. And Jasmine, you're more than welcome to go next. What would you like to see in the future of the field of shark sciences?
I feel like me and Jasmine are going to have very similar answers, but I definitely would like to see like an absolute influx of diversity in shark science. Like in the future, I want to be a professor. I want to be like that representation that, like someone's like, oh my gosh, like I have a Black professor who is doing stuff in shark science. Like that's the type of future that I want to see in, yes, snaps. The type of future I want to see in shark science is just like, I just really hope that in the future, a lot of barriers that have been preventing minorities from getting into this field are broken down, or at least like mostly broken down at that point. But yeah, I definitely want to see more diversity in shark science. I don't want to always be extremely surprised when I see another person of color in a shark field, or, like I don't want to always feel alone, even though I have good people around me, but it would be nice in the future to see a lot more representation in this field. And I think that we are on the right track, so.
100% agreed. And what about you? Go ahead, you can definitely ask or address this question as well.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with that. I think that the field of shark science, we have a lot of issues that we need to solve. So, I mean, in shark conservation in general, we're losing sharks at a really rapid rate. We have to make some really big decisions in the next couple of years, and we need as many minds thinking about it as possible. And that means that we need people from different backgrounds that come from different walks of life, different cultures, different countries, to be in on this and helping make these changes, make these policy decisions. So right now on this slide, you have a picture from our last American Elasmobranch Society meeting. And I just want you to look at this picture. You can see me very clearly if you look carefully. So yeah, that's what it looks like now. And on the next slide, I want to show you everything that it could be. So these are just some of our MISS members. So we have 160 members from 15 different countries, all women of color interested in shark science. And so obviously that picture that I showed you before is not representative of who is actually interested in shark science. And I want to see all of these lovely humans in these spaces talking about science, helping to shape policy, helping to conserve these really important animals. And so that's really what I want to see, and that's why we made MISS. And people ask us all the time, like, why did you go make a group for women of color? Because we didn't feel like that space was ours, and so we made our own. And that space will exist until we feel welcome in other spaces and represented in other spaces. And so we're pushing to make that change. And I hope that in the future, it won't be weird to see a woman of color on Shark Week. It won't be weird or a whole big deal to have women of color professors in marine science or shark science. So until that day, we will keep pushing, but that's what I hope the future of shark science looks like.
And, right along that same lines, let's see, could we pull up that last picture with all of those amazing women in shark science, that last slide that we had there with all those awesome photos. Let's see if we can pull that one up. That right there. That is so breathtaking, and that just take a look at how many diverse voices are being left out of the picture there. And you can go back one more, and we can kind of see how there's a pattern here, and that these voices are being left out of the equation. And these voices come with diversity. They come with different mindsets. They come with different solutions. And that's what everyone in terms of like this inclusion and diversity is what we're shooting for. And this next question, it talks about, it kind of addresses the why it's important, right? Because we always talk about wanting more diversity, but how important is this diversity change to you, and what kind of value does it bring to your work? And we can pass the plate over to Amani and Jada. Amani, you're more than welcome to answer this question.
I'm gonna pass this to Jada because she
Okay.
has a sentence that she likes to say that she's the first person I ever heard say it, and it embodies everything that I would say right now.
Okay, I'm assuming Amani is referring to the idea that diversity in people will create like diversity in thought, which will then create diversity in like, what was I gonna say? Like
Innovation.
Yes, innovation was the word I was looking for. Thank you. Yes, diversity in people creates diversity in thought, and then that contributes so much more to science. You can't just have, just like one cookie cutter mindset of a scientist, because you're all going to think of the same things and the same ideas, and it's not going to get as much done. But if you have diversity in people and ways of life, and mindsets and thoughts, you're going to get so much more done. So I think diversity in people in science will create diversity in discoveries and intuition. That wasn't the word you used, but intuition works. Sure.
Innovation.
Innovation. I don't know why that word keeps completely slipping from my brain. Innovation. Fantastic. Yes. Diversity is super important for that reason. And like we discussed earlier, representation is super important as well. So creating diversity in science will create diversity in representation, hopefully. And then more kids can realize that this is also a field for them, and this is an option for them. This is an opportunity that they have, and to, follow whatever dreams that you have and contribute to science, because science needs everyone to succeed. So we should all be a part of science.
We should all be a part of science. We should all be a part of science, and that includes everyone, and that means diversity. Let us take diversity as a lesson from natural biology. There is so much diversity in natural biology, and that out there in those ecosystems, if every animal was the same, doing the same in the same niche, in the same work habits, is eating the same thing, it just doesn't work out. We have to have diversity in our ecosystems that drives further evolution. It just makes the world go around, basically. And so if we can take from the natural world of biology, of diversity, and implement it in the world of science, could you imagine the innovation, the innovation that could come out of that? It'd be absolutely spectacular. So thank you, Amani, for handing over to Jada, because that was absolutely fantastic about how important diversity is into this field. Now, looking over to this next question, we're going to skip about advice that you would give to students, because you guys have been doing this the entire presentation. We're going to look at what are some critical changes that we are going to have to face when we're looking at the future. What are some critical changes that we must make to face the future effectively? And let's see, we can go with all four. You want to start off? Let's hand it over to Jasmine. What are some critical changes that we must make to face the future effectively?
Well, there's a lot of things we need to change. So we've got climate change. That's a problem. That's a problem. So we've got all of these human interactions with the environment causing all sorts of things to go bonkers. We've got sea level rise. We've got bizarre weather events happening. I mean, like the whole west coast of the United States is just on fire. That's Louisiana's getting pummeled by hurricanes. We're affecting that. And so we need to first recognize that, because not everybody's on board with that. So first we need to recognize that we are impacting the planet. And then we need to change. And another thing that we are impacting is just diversity, biodiversity. We're taking out species. We're taking out species faster than we can even discover them. It's like, oh, there's a new species. Oh, it's gone. And so we're losing species. We're changing our climate. We have this planet, and the planet is going to continue to exist without us. It's just a matter of if we get to stay here, or if Mother Nature is like, all right, we're just going to reset. We're going to go do something. And then people are like, wait, we are not equipped for this. And then we all die. So I don't know about you, but I don't want to die. So can we all just get on one team Earth, and save the planet? That's it. Go vote for people that want to save the planet. That's all I gotta say.
Team Earth, you said it very, very bluntly. Team Earth, and we don't want to die. We don't want to die. If you don't want to die, Team Earth, and vote, because as it says right there, every voice matters. Now, let's see, Jada, what are some critical changes that you think that we'll have to make to face the future effectively?
Yeah, I agree with absolutely everything that Jasmine said. Team Earth, we do not want to be the ones that are killed off because we've pissed the environment off so much. So let's, work towards, policies that are, supporting sustainability. And I think that we need to hold big companies accountable for the damage that they're doing to our environments. And people are like, oh, but you do all kinds of sustainable things, but like, it's not really making a difference. And like, I can still want these huge companies to recognize that the plastic they're producing is horrific for the environment and for us as well, and also want to be able to like change my own practices, you know, meatless Mondays and reusing jars and things like that, you know, just to increase my level of sustainability just a little bit. And supporting, like Jasmine said, supporting people that believe in climate change, because it's not a unicorn, it's a thing that's happening. We have scientific evidence that shows that we are causing this, and it is not looking good for us or for any other species on the planet. And I think we should kind of, I guess, change the way we think about biodiversity, because we think about it in a way that like it can profit us. And if it's not giving us, if we don't know about the direct ecosystem services it is providing to us, we don't care about it. And I don't think that biodiversity should need to prove itself to us. It has evolved for millions of years to get to the point where it is today. And I feel like we should respect it enough to not wipe it off the face of the planet in the next 10 years. So that's something that I've been talking about, especially in one of my classes. We've been talking about ecosystem services and the way that we use that to kind of like validate the existence of species. And it irks me so much because I'm like, okay, let's just be nice to our fellow earthlings, please. And yes, voting is so important. Vote for people who see that this is a thing and not only acknowledge that it's real, but are going to actively make policies that are going to help try to fix some of the issues that we've caused. That's so important. And I've noticed that this year, the number of voters has skyrocketed, especially in younger demographics. And it makes me so happy, because I know that these young voices are fighting for the positive change that we need. So if you are a young person, and even if you're an old person or a middle-aged person, whoever you are, and you're wondering how you can get involved and try to, you know, help the environment, vote, use your voice. It is important. So many people are like, well, my vote doesn't matter. I'm like, okay, but if 100,000 people said that and then you don't vote, that's a huge chunk of people that could have made a difference. And there have been so many elections that have been lost by 1, 2, 3 votes. Like your voice absolutely 100% matters. So please vote. Vote for the positive change that you want to see. Vote to help the environment and minorities and all the people that you love, and vote and care about people and the environment. That's what I got.
Thank you, Jada. We got a couple more minutes left of today's presentation, but Ben, joining from Utah, wanted to know, how can people without a STEM background get involved or help out with marine shark science? And I can kind of answer this a little bit too, in that Jada just said one of the ways, if you don't even have a background in STEM or science, it's to vote. Make sure you're voting for those politicians that believe in climate change. Yes, people, if you're watching this and you're like, there are people that don't believe in climate change, this is so surreal. You have no idea. We've got people in high offices running our country that do not believe in climate change. That is a problem. How can you address an issue if you're not even admitting it's real? But thank you, absolutely, Jada. You touched up on that. Vote. I cannot stress that enough. Please vote. So that next slide says vote, because every voice matters and every voice counts. And then we also want to make sure to say thank you so very much. You can all stay in touch with Miss and also keep up with their tremendous work right here. You can take a look at their social media outlets on here. Take a screenshot if you need to, a couple of pictures. So here are all their social channels and their website, and even their direct email. Please take advantage if you are a shark enthusiast and want some more information out there. This is available to you for that reason. And also, I understand that we have a great event coming up. Jasmine, did you want to talk a little bit more about the Black and Marine Science?
Sure. So if you are a person that engages in social media with any sort of frequency, and you have been graced by the presence of the hashtag Black in Blank movement, there's been a movement that was started by Black Birders Week And it is a movement that highlights Black people doing all types of cool science things. And a bunch of us marine scientists have taken over Black and Marine Science Week for November 29th to December 5th. So be on the lookout for that. You can look at the Black and Marine Science Twitter. There's also a website that you can find just by Googling Black and Marine Science Week. And there's going to be all sorts of events all throughout the week. There's going to be cool programs for K through 12 and the young people on December 3rd. There's going to be an empowerment panel. There's going to be a Skype a Scientist featuring Jada Elcock, the Jada Elcock. And there's also going to be really cool things happening on Twitter. So if you have a Twitter, be sure to follow the Black in Marine Science Twitter so that you can see all of our events that are happening. Yay!
Absolutely. You can count me in there. I'm going to go on Twitter as soon as I get off this presentation. Make sure I follow all of that. I'm going to go follow you guys on Twitter and y'all's social media outlets. So keep an eye out for that. And you know what? This has been such a fantastic presentation. I want to make sure to get all of your voices in here for like these last few seconds. If you guys could, in about 30 seconds, any last thoughts, any last closing remarks that you would like to leave on this presentation for our viewers at Earth Echo? Jada, do you want to go? We can go down the list.
Yeah, sure. Closing thoughts. Wait, did you say Jada or Jasmine?
You can go for it. Go for it. I think I said Jada.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, just, as we've said 100 million times, vote, very important. Just engage in science in any way that you can, even if it's just, watching someone doing some SciComm or reading a paper every now and then, or doing SciComm yourself. I love SciComm. I think it's great. Just have fun with science. And yeah, I guess that's kind of the only thought that I had. Sorry.
No worries. We love it. All right. Carly, we switch it over to you. You got 30 seconds. Closing remarks. What would you like to leave us with some thoughts, your wise words?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know with everything that's been said. Go vote for sure. Vote, do your research. That's another thing. I think that if you're just voting like just on autopilot, then that's not a good way to vote. Make sure you're doing your research. Also, donate to Miss. Woo, woo. Okay.
Thank you so much, Carly. We throw it over to Amani. What do you got for us? Give us some wise words.
I'm going to reiterate what I just sent in the chat, which is also an answer to the last question, which is for the future, be really aware in general. Be aware of how your actions are affecting other people, how your actions are affecting the climate, and be aware of other people's actions that are affecting places that you don't have any impact on you. Because like the wildfires in California, you might not be experiencing it, but it's going to affect you at some point. And it should be important to you, even if it's not happening to you. And you should believe in things, even if they're not happening to you. And so just being overall aware is super important, I believe, as a scientist and just as a human being. And especially when it comes to the climate and how it's changing in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Amani. And of course, last but not least, Jasmine, give us some of your amazing wise words here.
So I think the only thing that I want to leave people with is no matter where you are, how old you are, what's happening in your life, what your situation is, you can be a scientist. And I think we have this really rigid view of what a scientist is. And I want you to just take that idea and blow it up, because that's baloney. Being a scientist is asking a question and trying to figure out the answer. That's being a scientist. So you can be a scientist literally right now. You have a question, go find the answer. Go be a scientist. You can do it. And you don't need to have a degree. You don't need to have any formal training. You can do science. Be a scientist. Do science. We need everyone to be a scientist. We need everyone to be science literate. We need everyone to understand and care about what's going on. So my advice to you is to go out and be a scientist, like today. Go do it.
Be a scientist. You can do it. And if you are a minority, you can definitely do it for sure because your voice matters. Now, our couple of last slides we've got here is the Youth Action Network Meetup. Earth Echo invites young people who want to take action to protect the ocean to join us on Saturday, November 14th. I'll say that one more time. Saturday, November 14th for a Youth Action Network meetup. You can visit earthecho.org. I'll say that one more time, earthecho.org for more of those details and to register for that awesome event that we have. Also, if you follow us, you definitely will be sure to stay connected with us by using these social and channels websites. If you look, you're able to see that we've got our social media channels and websites here. I will specifically point out earthecho.org. And if you are on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you hop off of our presentation today for sure. And of course, as always, we want to thank you again to our wonderful panel. Thank you so much. Thank you for me personally. It's been so spectacular to be able to talk to you all. Y'all are some amazing people. You're very unique in your own, but together y'all have created such an amazing organization, MISS, Minorities in Stark Science. It's phenomenal. So thank you to everyone. And thanks to everyone who has tuned in tonight on behalf of Earth Echo, on the Youth Leadership Council, our Water Challenge, and all of our programs with Earth Echo. Stay safe, stay healthy, vote, and keep exploring. Bye-bye, everyone.